Hey guys, it's Maria. Welcome back to my channel. I post videos every single Thursday giving you guys the best tips and tools for being more effective in your practice sessions and helping you achieve your musical goals. So if you're new, consider subscribing. Guys, we've all been there. You're in school, you're working, you're super busy. When do you find time to practice? Unfortunately, life never really slows down for anybody. And if you're gonna sit there and tell yourself that you're gonna practice once things get a little bit less busy, let me tell you right now that that's pretty much never gonna happen. So you have to learn not only how to optimize your schedule, but how to build your practice time around it so you can make steady progress towards your goals, whether that's learning a certain piece of repertoire, preparing for a recital, competition, or exam. And practice is one of those things that you're always gonna have to find time for, and that's always gonna be a little bit of a struggle. So with that, we're starting a new series on this channel, and that is the Efficient Practice series. So whether you're struggling to find motivation in your practice or you're wondering how to structure your individual practice sessions, we'll be covering everything efficient practice. So please, if you have any questions about sight reading, warm-ups, practice routines, or anything else you can think of, be sure to comment them down below and I will answer them in future videos. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to fit practice into your busy schedules. But before I get into any of these points, let's establish one thing. Practicing regularly, even if it's for smaller chunks of time, is always more effective than practicing irregularly. From a teacher's point of view, not only is it painfully apparent when a student has not been practicing every day and just sat down to try to cram the day before the lesson, but also you as the musician/performer will retain less of the information if you practice irregularly. So try to commit to setting aside time every single day to practice. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's move on to the first point. Decide on how much time you want to practice every single day in a perfect world without all these distractions and these commitments that you also have. If you need help deciding on a time frame, ask your teacher, and of course this depends on your level, your immediate priorities, and your long-term goals. It also depends on what pieces you're working on, but most of all, it depends on whether or not you're an efficient practicer and how much time you spend scrolling in your practice room. Yes, people still do that. For example, if you have a full-time job and music is your hobby, you might only have 20 to 30 minutes a day to practice. And contrary to what most teachers might tell you, you can accomplish a lot with those 20 to 30 minutes. On the other hand, if you're an aspiring professional musician still in high school, you probably already have a few hours set aside to practice. So whatever the case may be for you, just keep that dream number in mind when you're scheduling your practice sessions and try to work towards that number. And I know I literally just said that you have to practice every single day, but it goes without saying that during those busy times like midterms, finals, or just on those days when you're feeling under the weather, it's okay to take a break. Hustle culture is unfortunately inherent in classical music, as it is in so many other fields, but it's just not healthy or sustainable to tire yourself out day after day. So it's definitely okay to take breaks. After you know how long you want to spend at your instrument each day, take a look at your actual schedule and see where you can fit those practice sessions into. A good time frame to keep in mind is up to 45 minutes of continuous practice. Many studies have shown that this is the perfect time frame for effective studying for students, and practice is a lot like studying. So if you want to keep this framework in mind, then when you have a 2-hour time slot, for example, just be aware of the fact that you won't actually be practicing for the full 2 hours, so make time for breaks as well. Here's an example of my calendar this week, and it's probably a little bit more empty than what you would have imagined, and that's because I'm in my 4th year, which means less classes, but also because of COVID, a lot of performance-based classes were put on hold. On a busier week, I would definitely have more things going on, but so far I've been exploring a less rigid approach to my practice, so I don't actually put it in my calendar. But of course, if you do have more things going on, you definitely want to put your practice into your calendar to make sure it gets done. The best time to fit in your practice is, of course, during the morning while your mind is still fresh, and I understand this isn't always an option, but on those lucky days when class doesn't start until 10 or 11, you can fit up to 2 hours of practice beforehand, and this is great because you're either A, done your practice for the rest of the day, or finished a good chunk of it, which will help motivate you to finish the rest later on. Another option would be to practice in between classes, and especially for music school students, take advantage of the mindset a class puts you in. So, you know, when you hear somebody really good and you wish you were practicing right now, ride that wave of motivation into your practice room. So the pros of doing this are that in these increments, you can potentially finish whatever your practice limit was for the day by the time your classes are over. But the cons are, of course, that because your practice is fragmented, not only will you not be able to schedule in breaks, but your focus and efficiency might suffer as well. But sometimes there's no other option. So if this is the option that you have to deal with for one day or a few days of your week, make sure you do have a list of what you want to accomplish so you don't spend time thinking about what it is you actually need to practice right now. The third option, of course, is to practice at the end of the day when all of your work and classes are over. And this doesn't work for everybody. I'm definitely not a night owl, but I've heard and seen so many people, even at the conservatory, who just choose to be there until late at night so they can practice in peace. So of course the pros to doing this are that nobody is disturbing you, you don't have any distractions, but the cons are that your efficiency again might suffer if you're tired at the end of the day. But if you are a night owl, then this is literally the perfect option for you. Whichever way you choose, try to make it your schedule and stick to it. So I don't mean that day to day everything should be the same, because most of the time it's not, but try to make your schedule week to week similar. So say Monday you have class at 11, so you practice in the morning. Tuesday you have random classes from 9 to 3 with gaps, so you practice in between. Wednesday you practice in the morning again because you have classes at 12, etc. Once you have a draft for what times you want to practice during the week, take a look at your schedule one last time, looking for lessons, rehearsals, coachings, etc. You might be wondering what this has to do with practicing, and the truth is most people would like to warm up before performance-based activities. So if you had a choice between practicing before or after your lesson or both, which would you choose? And this is actually a trick question because both are very, very useful. Practicing before helps recap what you've been working on during the week and help you show your best side of your work to your teacher. And practicing after helps solidify what you just learned from your teacher and help implement that into your practice plan for the following week. So whatever you choose, and I personally recommend both, make sure you keep that in mind when you're planning your practice sessions. And the last point ties back to all the previous points, and that's knowing what you're actually practicing. And by this, I don't mean just the piece, but your smaller goals within each piece. So whether that's you're working to memorize or bring up the tempo in a certain area of the piece that's giving you trouble or whatever it is, it's a good idea to take a step back at the end of the week and assess your progress and see if you need to make some changes to reach your long-term goals for the next week's practice plan. I would recommend practicing up to 3 pieces in a given week, and of course this is different from person to person. If you're a music school student, you're getting things thrown at you pretty much every single day. You can't just practice 3 pieces a week. Or if you're preparing for a competition, of course you can practice 3 pieces a week. It has to be more than that, but ideally if you want to spend 30 to 40 minutes on each piece, and you only have a few hours a day to practice, that only gives you a few pieces a day. And as I said at the beginning of this video, if you do only have 20 to 30 minutes a day to practice, you can achieve a lot with that time. You just will be moving a little more slowly than if you put more time into it. But of course, as with any new skill, you have to invest a substantial amount of time into it before you start seeing results, and then to keep it going. And knowing exactly what you need to practice at the beginning of each week will help you not only decide on how much time you want to be practicing every single day, but also help you waste less time when you're practicing in between breaks, as I said before. So tying everything together, know exactly what you're practicing, how long you want to practice each day, and choose the way you want to tie your practice into your daily and weekly schedule. I wish I had these tips when I was going into my first year at music school, but if any of you are in that situation now, I hope you find this video helpful. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and please leave me a comment down below saying what you want to know about how to practice efficiently, and I will be sure to answer your questions in a future video. If you want to watch some more of my videos, you can do that right here. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye.